Uh, Hello, students. Today I'm going to talk about what is photojournalism, and I'll tell you what photojournalists actually can do. So you can think about differentiating, dividing these two words into two basic components: photo separately and journalism separately. So photo means an image, and journalism or journalist is a person who actually reports a news. So you need to think about it. So it's a process of storytelling. Okay. So photojournalism is about a process through which you can tell your stories using the medium of photography as your main storytelling device. Okay. So I assume that all of you should have either a cell phone or either a tablet. So what I'm expecting is that you'll be able to capture a story of your own local community. So the difference between photojournalist and a journalist is that a journalist usually use his or her pen and paper to write a story. But you guys, as a photojournalist, you have to capture photos in order to tell a story. So you give a visual representation of a story. So it's not just about telling a plain story, but story having different panels. So whenever you think of as a photojournalist, you need to keep in mind that how many photos do I need to tell my story? Like in 4 photos, and 5 photos, and 6 photos, and those photos have to have a sequence in it, as especially exactly in the same way as a story does. Like a story has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. In the same way, you will be having a beginning point, a middle point, and an ending point through your photos. So you need to make sure that whenever you, being as a photojournalist, try to tell a story, you should be having plenty of pictures at your hand and as a work in a working document. So you can select at least 10 photos you should have, but you can pick and choose the best ones. And you have to tell the stories. So for instance, let's say I am as an excess teacher, I want to tell a story about my student. So what I'm going to do is I'll capture my students working, that particular student working in different contexts, working in his home, working with me, and in the classroom, working with his peers in the class, within the classroom, but working with other students. I can also think about visiting any person from the U.S. Embassy or U.S. consulate, so they how that student is going to interact. So I'll showcase my student through different phases. So you need to think of in that way. And I can also think of my student winning something, like they have achieved, they have, in order to complete the story, so I should be having a beginning, a middle, and an ending. So the best point of having a photojournalism in your mind is to you that you start appreciating the stories and you start appreciating how to start a story and how to have beginning, middle, and ending. So you think of any story. I'm sure you know many of the stories you must have heard about having a story with a moral, especially that we do have in our classes. So what you can think of that story in terms of having telling that story through images, through photos. So you'll be doing this project as a photojournalist. All right, moving on to the next slide. Moving on to the next slide is um, about most of us are familiar with old saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture, I repeat, a picture has a lot of power and it can tell 1,000 words. For instance, there are two pictures that are selected, and you can think about giving it a caption. You can think about giving it words. You can think about, because you see, I'm sure that I'll be asking your teachers to conduct the task of activity of working, of letting you work in within the newspapers or magazines. So you can see that every um, photo has a specific caption. So most of you have heard of, since most of you know that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So well, this is the theory behind photojournalism. That's quite simple, but it's not as simple as it looks, because you have to be very cautious and careful about selecting that picture and also giving up an accurate and appropriate caption. What do you think? What should be the caption for the first picture and for the second picture? You think about it. So you see, this is one of the emerging fields for as a photojournalist. This is one of the emerging fields in the country, and there are many more job opportunities and career opportunities for you, because every story has a unique perspective. So you, as if you develop this skill of being photojournalist, you can actually earn and you can actually tell stories. But let me tell you one aspect of digital photo, being a digital photojournalist, that accuracy and appropriateness is very important. Accuracy, it may sound a little difficult, but accuracy means that it has to be accurate. You cannot fabricate. In stories, usually we can fabricate, but this story, as a photojournalist, you have to be accurate and you have to be truthful to yourself. You cannot tell a story which is not clear, which is false, which is not right. So it has to have an accurate point of view. And accuracy is the first objective. So once you assume the role of photojournalist, that means that you are bound to report the right thing, the correct thing. So it's very important that whatever you're going to report, it has to have a truth. It has to have that accuracy element in it. And that is what is very, very significant here, being as a photojournalist. Um, that's again a very important point, is that always remember the 5 Ws: why, where, when, what, and who. So it's very important. I repeat 5 Ws. You can repeat after me: who, what, where, when, why, and 1H is who. So when you think of as a photojournalist, you need to think of that: who am I going to capture, what I'm going to capture, which place I'm going to capture, to what point in time that I'm thinking of, why do I need to capture this or tell this story. And it's very important, it's very significant. And how to tell that story, it's again very significant. Like, it has to have a proper beginning, middle, and ending. So you need to think about for those 5 Ws and 1H. And then you think you can derive your question as well. Driving question has to has to be there, like how, as photojournalists, we can tell the stories of our communities, or why do we need to tell our stories at all. Do we need to tell our stories because we need to get significant popularity, or do we need to tell the stories because we need to bring these issues to public notice? So you need to think of these things. You need to write it down. You need to plan your photojournalist story effectively, and then you'll be able to bring a change, and you'll be able to convince your audience, and then you'll be able to bring a point of view. And point of view is very important. Let me tell you, you may write it down, the point of view, or viewpoint, because this is one of, again, very significant issue, that being a photojournalist, that you need to be taking care of. All right, moving on to the human condition. So you need to make sure that whatever story you are going to capture, people could relate to other people. So it has to be connected. It is essential to capture the human experience in your photographs. Human experience, what do you mean by human experience? The human experience could be like, you are sitting in a school. There are so many people involved in your school, and there are so many people that you haven't thought of. Like, let's say, our sports staff, who usually clean our floor every day. They make sure that the floor is clean, the desks are clean, and then you can come into the classroom, and then you can sit comfortably and conveniently. So you see, you can tell the story of those people, or you can tell the story of that security guards who are usually outside, who keep sitting, not keep sitting, but rather, forgive me, keep standing outside to safeguard us, um, to protect us, to sort of give us security, and to give us a feeling that we are secured, so we could study safely in our schools. And also, you see, human experience also includes teachers like myself, or students like yourself. As a teacher, I am a human being as well. I am a father as well. I'm a father of twins. and they're very naughty. So you see, there are different human experiences. As a father, I'm maybe different, but then as a teacher, I'm altogether a different person. So there are human experiences you can think of, you can select, you can relate to, or you can document through your photographs. And this could include actions, reactions, which in return all convey human emotions. And let me tell you, it's very important that you capture emotions, you capture actions, you capture certain nuances of human experiences, and you need to think outside of the box, and you need to be a bit creative in your photos, because every photo cannot be considered as a best photograph into the photojournalism. So you need to be very creative. You need to think about it. You need to plan it. I repeat, um, you need to have an idea that which photo has to have an impact, and which photo covers human emotion to its true sense. And yes, that is what has nuances, and that is what you can think about it. So you can think about this for these two pictures, and then you can think about the caption. You can let me know about the caption. You can discuss in the class. Let me know, what does this first picture looks like. And let me tell you, the first these two pictures are most celebrated pictures in the photojournalism field, and you can let me know by looking at it. And these two pictures are black and white as well. So you can let me know that whatever you think and how you would like to give a caption to these pictures. Um, And then when we talk about photography, we need to think about composition. And what does composition means? Composition means that how diverse a arrangement of element could be, what background you are going to capture, whether it's a sunset or sunrise or a flower or a garden or a gardener, or what objects, I mean, um, your objects are people, or your objects are simply a coffee cup or mug, or maybe it could be a pencil, or it could be as small as a wristwatch. You can tell a story of a wristwatch. So there are different kinds of stories that you can capture, and you can think about giving the caption. Composition, the rule of thirds is very important in your caption, in your picture. And rule of thirds is that do not put your main subject matter directly in the middle of the composition, but rather the human eye is drawn to the target areas. So you need to think, you can think about my background. So it's maybe not myself is more important, but my background is maybe that parrot, one of my students made it for me, that maybe could tell you something else, or this chart is could tell you something else, because this chart is this parrot could tell you maybe I like birds, and this chart could tell you that this is an IPA, so I am a teacher of English linguistics. So this could reveal my job significance. So it's very important that you think of beyond the perspective of, in the two picture in these they were given two pictures. You can think about the background, like in the second one especially, the tiger is all alone. You see it's a very dangerous element, and no one can, it's a sense it's a king of the jungle, so no one can dare coming near to this very dangerous animal. So the background itself can tell you a lot of information and give you a lot of information. Composition, again, point of view, I was talking about it again earlier. So point of view, applying different angles. So you do have that excess of tablet. You can think of when you once you capture a picture, what different angle are you bringing? What different perspective are you bringing? What approach? Maybe a picture from a glass window may not look a nice picture, but maybe you go outside and then you capture it. That may bring a lot of significance. And you see these days we are experiencing monsoon season in which and torrential rainfall. So you can tell the story of the people who are suffering from floods, and different how the rainwater comes in and what problems may arise. So you can think about being a little creative in your approach and bringing new perspective to your being a photojournalist. Again, coming to composition elements, it's very important that you think of reading lines, repetition, shape, form, texture, color. It can be black and white, it can be colorful as you like. It can be texture oriented. You need to be thinking about the shape or shape within a shape. You can see the repetition and multiple other things as well. I'll be sharing more resources with you. So thank you very much for watching this video. And I hope that you liked it and you'll be able to apply some of the ideas into your classes. Thank you very much.